The Spanish Announce Table.
Tom, it is episode 354 of the Spanish Announce Table, and it's going to be a little different show this week. We're going to do a deep dive into something we haven't normally done deep dives into, but we record this on Thursdays for anybody listening back later on the podcast or watching later on the YouTube, and normally we cover AEW Dynamite, but they're going out Saturday night. They didn't do it yesterday, which was a little sad.
Well, and they're also doing that again next week as well. So we got a little bit of a different format for this week and next week. Heads up, spoiler alert. And so, yeah, we're going to be switching up the format and doing a deep dive on a pro wrestling show we actually like to watch. Crazy. Ooh. Yeah. So, Tim, you want to get right into it?
Let's get right into it.
All right, so we are going to be covering the GCW Fight Club that took place this past Saturday night. Now, obviously, it caught our attention because of the main event. It was a high-profiled match inside of the bubble of pro wrestling, right? This wasn't breaking the mold and getting the attention of your grandparents or, you know, the ESPNs of the world. But within this bubble, it got the attraction. And remember, this is independent pro wrestling, so this isn't something necessarily that should be getting the attention with all the other independent promotions out there. So credit to GCW for getting this far. But what we were intrigued by was the main event, as I mentioned. Champion Jon Moxley taking on challenger, the god of this shit, MDK all motherfucking day, Nick Gage. And we'll get into that match in just a second. But let's kick it off with the first match of the night. It was Alex Zane versus Ninja Mac versus, at the last second, Lio Rush. And here's the thing. Before I get your feedback on this match, this is the Lio Rush that I'm okay with. The I got money and I can get you invested into I don't need your pyramid schemes. Just do the fun shit, right? Like, I hate to minimize what I like about you, but like, this was the Lio Rush that I'm into. What did you think?
Yes, the Lio Rush thing was super cool. Like that little kind of addition there late. And Ninja Mac he is the coolest, right? Oh my gosh.
Alex Zane was very impressive. Obviously, Lio Rush is Lio Rush, so we know of his capabilities, and it was a good surprise to see him in this match. But I left saying, I want more Ninja Mac. He can do this. Little pudgy bastard looking like a white milk dud can get around and do all the types of flips and shit. And
he looks like it's a dad in a Halloween costume, right? You don't. I mean, he's got some guns, like if you look at him, but like, you know, if you stood next to him, you know what I mean.
He's
like
not
you said,
physically impressive.
Yeah, but if you put your arm around him, you knowing what you'd be like, okay, this guy can. You know what I mean? Like obviously you have to have some, to have his abilities, but looking across the room, you might be like, yeah, this fucking guy. And here he comes, a true ninja. He does real ninja moves, man. This stuff is crazy.
Yeah, if you were in a room and you were to pick out your 10 wrestlers that you want to build a promotion, you might do one of the you and you and you and you, just skip over them.
Yeah.
Now, also, so Ninja Mac, to your point and what I already said, I thought was the star of this match. But Alex Zane also was very impressive. I like this Taco Bell gimmick, the weighing 420, what was it, Crunchwrap Supremes or something like that. I thought that was fun. I don't know with like...
a lot of his moves were named after something, right?
Yeah, Taco Bell items. As you get bigger, I don't know if you could do that on national TV because Taco Bell might be like, hey, fuck off, right? But again, for this promotion and for what this was, thought it was great. The action was off the charts. It was just boom, 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 boom. Now, the finish I was very interested in, and I want your feedback on this. So it was Alex Zane hitting his big move on Ninja Mac. Then we see Lio Rush get to the top rope, but doesn't get to break up the count because he was too late. Now, some people thought, was this a botch? What the hell was that? That was clunky. That was bad. I loved it. What did you think?
I loved it as well. We have talked before about how I, tongue-in-cheek somewhat, am begging for a failed hot tag, right? Because it wouldn't, like, why does it work every time, right? Once in a while, the crowd's going nuts. You jump in and you get your ass fucking knocked right out, right? So this is the same thing, right? Like sometimes, that like when we see guys do something very similar in the like, oh, I kicked out at 3.5, And it's like, oh, you barely beat me, right? This is the same kind of thing, right? Like, oh, man, I was just not there, right? Like, just right there. I loved it. It was like, close. Better luck next time, Leo. Being retired, you had a little ring rust. Sorry.
I loved it because, to your point, I want a hot tag not to work. I also want a high-risk maneuver not to pay off once in a while.
Yeah.
And
risk.
If you were to break kayfabe for a second here, or excuse me, if you were to be in kayfabe, that's what I meant to say, and you were to watch this as if it was a real fight, you would go, what is Leo Rush doing? Like, the action is on the other side of the ring. Why is he going to the opposite corner? And now he had a plan, but the other two guys aren't just sitting around with their thumb in their ass just waiting for this guy to jump on them. So they're going to get the pin in, right? Yeah. Alex Zane's going to pin this motherfucker and get the win. So I thought that was cool. And I like that Leo Rush was like, fuck, damn, man. Like you just... it's just like he put his, folded his arms like, well,
just the disappointment, like, fuck, man.
I like that's real. Like
it's real. Yes.
It's a new wrinkle into what was a good triple threat match. Again, action was off the charts. So
if I can say something I was disappointed in this match with especially with Leo Rush is that we did not see Danielle Fisher. And that's always something I've started to come to expect with Leo Rush indie matches,
Let's take a quick sidestep here. We'll get back to the GCW, but you bring up a good point. You think Tony Khan is doubling down on Leo Rush because Leo Rush is a very, very good pro wrestler, and matches with Dante Martin and Matt Sydal are going to be incredible and going to kick off the show just like you want. But maybe Tony Khan's wanting a Boy Meets World moment in AEW?
Right?
If you got Topanga already in, I don't think it's that hard to get Corey to just do a one-off appearance. I'd love it.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd do it for a couple hundreds, right?
I'd love it. I tell you what, I don't know. So Tony Khan, I know you're watching. Let's if you're gonna get Leo Rush to do this pyramid scheme, let's get a Boy Meets World moment.
Also, this is something I thought about throughout the night, not in just this match, but this was the first match. So it was the first time I thought about it. I think we ask a lot of times. We can go to SpanishAnnounceTable.net. We have a PayPal link if you'd like to donate to the show. We would love that. But right now, I'm asking for a different philanthropy, right, from everybody. I wonder if we can all chip in and help GCW get a ring apron.
No, I liked it. For this one. Right. Yes. Now, typically,
it's Fight Club, so yeah.
Right. This one felt because. And I agree with you because I noticed that a couple different times. Like, what in the fuck is happening, right? And maybe I'm getting too much into my head, but I felt like with what the main event was gonna be, where we were gonna grab all the shit. Well, let's just get rid of all the frivolous stuff. Yep. We know we're going underneath, right? We're grabbing all the stuff, so just get rid of the shit. Yeah. So maybe I'm thinking too much into that, but I did notice no ring apron.
No ring.
I think that's the first time on TV that I've ever seen just a ring exposed underneath.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
And I didn't see a single kendo stick. No, Wrestler's Court wasn't going on under there. Something's
interesting. No hornswoggle. No nothing.
Yeah, something's wrong.
Speaking of little people, let's go into our second match. We had Marco Stunt and Joey Janella taking on Chris Dickinson and Starboy Charlie in a tag match. What'd you think here?
This is when it started really setting in. One of the reasons to love GCW, and it's a shout out to friend of the show, Kevin Gill. You're going to get announcing on GCW like none other that you're seeing in pro wrestling anywhere, right? If you want to talk about real, this is two fellas having a great time watching what's going on here. Still doing professional move calls and stuff like that and doing color correctly, but like they're not beholden to some sort of FCC guidelines or sponsorship worries, and it's fun. Here, Kevin Gill said of Chris Dickinson and Starboy Charlie that they both have very supportive moms, right? Was a thing he was giving praise on. And I was just like, I love it, right? Like, yeah, he's like, these guys are great, right? Yeah. They're very supportive moms.
I thought this was good because this is where, as an AEW fan, right? Like, I am AEW through and through. Call me a mark, whatever you want to call me. I don't care. But AEW is my home promotion that I'm always going to make sure to make the time for. And I've always said, hey, I want to see more Joey Janela. I want to see Marco Stunt not just get thrown around by Wardlow. Let's see him do some fun stuff. And it was cool to see, like, oh, like they can do that. This is why they got signed to AEW. Check out the cool shit they're going to do in this match. And they did. I thought both of them were over with their entrances. Even though it doesn't like fit, I didn't think, like if you put Joey Janela and Marco Stunt as characters, I don't know if they would like each other.
Right.
But sure. But they were fun. Starboy Charlie was really cool. I thought he was interesting and cool. Chris Dickinson, though, he is built like a Coke machine.
Yeah.
I tell you what, he knows where the weights are
solid, right? Yeah. Like it looked like every muscle was one more pump away from just bursting out of his skin.
Yeah, if there was an award for best getting off the bus, he's getting that because he was built.
Well, and it looked like a more natural Brian Cage, if you will, right? Like a little less.
Yeah, he hasn't
enhanced,
reached the second level. Yeah,
right.
He's the first version of what this body type is, and then you get to Brian Cage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested though to see what happens from this. So Chris Dickinson and Starboy Charlie get the victory, but then post match, Joey Janela and Marco Stunt are like, these guys are okay with us, like they're gonna be good, and I was like, okay. And again, maybe aesthetics. I don't. You have Second Gear Crew as your tag champs, so we'll get to them here in a moment. I just don't see that Second Gear Crew is going to be given the fight of their life from Chris Dickinson and Starboy Charlie.
Starboy Charlie, right. Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's not even that it's Starboy Charlie. It's just that the dynamic isn't like I didn't really see a lot of like tandem moves or like traditional tag teams, so it's like, I don't know what they would do. It doesn't have that, like, which we'll talk about later, what will have that. For the second or was it Second Gear Crew, right? Yeah, and I think what I'm trying to allude to here is like Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. Even if you took away the gimmicks, the way they wrestle, that is a formidable opponent to any tag team champions, right? I could see them beating Lucha Bros, or I could see them beating Young Bucks. Any of those teams. But with Chris Dickinson and Starboy Charlie, there's something missing. It's two like individuals that like. I guess we're friends. So, well, and they did pull into that, like, kind of like, all right, well, let's shake hands. Like, yeah, you're all right with me, kid, kind of a, attaboy thing. So maybe if they lean into that and it's not a tag team and we get, a bit of a feud because it's like, no, you're not all right, you punk, right? And then, right. Yeah, and we won't go into the second night, but I do want to mention Joey Janela's match with Minoru Suzuki. Woo, woo. See, I haven't seen that one yet. I have not seen the second night yet. So from firsthand experience watching Davey Richards versus Minoru Suzuki, how physical Suzuki can be. Well, yeah, and we know of Janella. And Joey Janela just doesn't care about his safety, so there you go. I won't ruin anything for you, but I did want to mention that was a hell of a match. Credit to both guys there. So let's get back into the card here in our third match of the night. It was a singles match. Young kid here, Jordan Oliver. Yeah. I didn't know too much about him. I've seen him obviously on other GCW shows. Seen him on Impact before. Oh, you have? Oh, no, it was MLW. It was MLW, excuse me. I've seen him in MLW as well. Yeah, and I've seen him in multi-man matches in GCW, but this is the first one-on-one. Yeah. Like him. But where I came, like, okay, we got a heel here. Yeah. This Atticus Cougar. Yeah. Coger, excuse me. Atticus Coger. Fuck, people hate this guy. And so shout out to Kevin Gilligan, who said about Atticus Cogar, and I wrote this down. He says, a guy who doesn't give a single care about the crowd here. He'll Spider-Man his semen into everyone's face, which he was doing at the time. Yeah. Right? Right. It's just, because when you look at the GCW shows and you see Matt Cardona get the heat that he's getting. Ooh, yeah. It feels still like a little bit of tongue-in-cheek, right? Like, we just don't like you because you're not doing the GCW thing. With this Atticus motherfucker, it seems like I don't like it. With Matt Cardona, it's what he represents and him leaning into it saying, like, lick my balls, I'm better than you. And then him taking it and being like, I'm the best ever here, right? And everybody's like, fuck this guy. No, this Atticus Cogar is like one where they're like, no, we're going to follow this guy out of the parking lot. And we're gonna rip his fucking piercings out, and we're going to fucking piss in his face. And Yeah, it seems more, with Matt Cardona, it seems like, hey, just get out of here, man. Like, we just don't want you here. Yeah. Go away. With Atticus, it feels like we're never going to be friends. Yeah, like we do not like this guy, and
Right?
And he's a part of that 4-4 Ohio or OH crew with Ricky Shane Page. All of them have heel heat like none other. It'll be interesting to see where he goes from here. Jordan Oliver got the victory, but Atticus sticks those fucking things in his head. What in the This is where, look, Atticus did this in the perfect spot because, again, no one likes him. He's a shithead. He would do this thing. It makes sense. But this is where it's like, I'm glad we didn't see it again. You know what I mean? Like, it was used once because you do it too many times. And now I'm just like, what in the fuck are we doing? Are we just like in it to hurt ourselves? Like I said, is this consensual torture? Like, it's a little much, but Atticus left those fucking things in Jordan's head. So I would imagine we're going to get round 2 of this.
I would imagine we're going to get that. And yeah, this Jordan Oliver kid, I mean, I feel I get an early cast vibe from the guy, not in like his attitude, but just that kind of like, we got a big guy here who's got some skills. He's a little kind of not tight with him, if you will, right? And he's a young kid, so I think young kids are kind of prone to that too, right? They'll fly around, not necessarily have the most coordination and that kind of stuff. But he seems to get it. He seems to know what pro wrestling is, so that can only help him, right? And so, yeah, barring injuries or just bad attitude, I don't see why this guy doesn't, enhance his stance in the pro wrestling world as the years go along.
Yeah, and I believe he's 22. I think is what Kevin or someone
said. He's like
said.
a young kid.
Yeah, because he still has baby fat on him. You know what I mean? Like, he still has that, like, you just do some bench press and squats and you're going to look different.
I would totally card him if I was working at a liquor store.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
So,
not even blink. I'd be like, I need an ID guy.
Yeah, exactly. So now let's get into a little bit of a quick intermission. Brett Lauderdale comes out and he says, I have a major announcement. A major announcement.
Yeah.
The major announcement is Matt Cardona comes out. Get the fuck out
so
of the ring.
great.
Oh.
So wonderful.
Oh, so now this was for the internet title. Internet title versus GCW career match. Matt Cardona versus Effie. What'd you think? This was
Shout out to Kevin Gill again, who referred to Matt Cardona as a douche canoe during this match.
Yep.
I loved this match. Matt Cardona right now is my favorite heel in pro wrestling. He is by far and away just got this crowd at the palm of his hands. And I mean, he can say anything, do anything, look at somebody, and they will just be like, kill him. Like, they fucking hate this guy. And I'm loving every second of it, right? I love his cheesiness with it, because even I could say, I'd be like, I don't really like this fucking guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very easy to dial into. And at the end of this, him using his fucking old school broski of the week headband to start choking out Effie, and then Effie likes it, which here, hold on, let me put me up here with just that background right here. If you're watching on the YouTube, this was one of the coolest spots that, again, we don't get in
anywhere else.
Mainstream media, right?
So I want to ask you about Effie, because I go back and forth on Effie. On one hand, I love the Effie's big gay brunch. I like that he pushes the limits of, hey, accept different people into this bro culture of pro wrestling. And I think that's great, and I love it. And that spot was fun. It was a different wrinkle on firing up, right? He gets choked. He kind of likes it, you know? However, I think sometimes my criticism of Effie is that what he's doing to get over is, I'm gay, and like, I'm gonna sex you up, and it's like, and then the guy like freaks out.
Yeah, it's a little bit denigrating to the gay.
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like you know, it's almost a caricature of the homosexual community, and so while I like that he does these events, sometimes let's dial it back. You know what I mean?
I haven't talked to any gay folks about Effie, specifically gay wrestling fans. So please get to us. Hashtag tweet the table on Twitter. Tableshow@gmail.com. Talk to us about that, because I could only imagine there's a lot of variance of what you'd hear, positive or negative, from them about Effie. Yes, I do think it is a bit of a caricature. Now, sometimes we will not discuss this here, but a hot button issue right now in mainstream media is the Chappelle's, understanding not understanding of the trans community. I generally, and people wonder, like, I've heard people say, like, well, you didn't get mad when you talked about black people and stuff. I think it's a known trope in media that, like, people of a specific type culture classification can say or do whatever they want about that type culture classification within limits, right? So sometimes I'm like, okay, well, Effie's doing it if Effie's really gay in real life. I don't know what his real name is.
Right.
On you and your friends, right? Like in your community, because I'm not of that community, per se, right? So, yeah, I don't know any of those things either, right? Like, I don't know if Effie's playing a role, if he really is gay. I assumed he was based on the support he has for it. So, yeah, I definitely, I think if I was of that community, I might be like, hey, man, tone it a little back, right? Like,
Yeah, because in that community, and maybe I'm painting with a broad stroke here, but you look at someone like Sonny Kiss, and Sonny Kiss can do the thing where if you go back to the buy-in of one of the earlier pay-per-views from AEW, he's taking Tommy Dreamer and shoving him in his ass, the 10-time stuff, and that's fine. But like every match from Sonny Kiss isn't I'm dropping down to my knees, let me see that dick kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And so
however,
I get that Effie can do that here because it's not on TNT and things like that.
It is GCW. It's a rough crowd.
Right, but it just feels like that's all you are? Like you can't – what else?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I will say him naming the move, stealing Zack Ryder's move and calling it the Sack Ryder.
The Sack Ryder is perfect.
Well, and I love that. So he stole Zack Ryder's move. He calls it the Sack Ryder, but the announcers keep saying, like, this is a knockoff of the Sack Ryder that he's doing. I loved it. All of it.
Yeah, Zack Ryder would do his own move, and they're like, that looks like a Sack Ryder. That's interesting. Yeah.
Kind of a cheap, not as good version of the Sack Ryder. And first of all, the double entendre even of Sack Ryder, even, like, it's so... That's a chef's kiss for me of the whole thing.
Yeah, I thought this was great. So the fallout from this match is that Matt Cardona gets the victory because a mystery, I guess, wrestler interferes, takes out Alley Catch, takes out Effie. Matt Cardona then hits the Sack Rider and gets the victory. This wrestler pulls off their disguise. It is Matt Cardona's wife or fiance. I don't know what
I think
the
it's
status
fiance
is,
right
but
now, but
fiance,
I don't know
maybe,
for sure.
sure.
Yeah, maybe wife.
But it's Chelsea Green. So we get Chelsea Green now.
And they make out in front of this crowd. They go for the tonsils, which was a great move too. Which she even was probably like, all right, dude, you're sweaty. You can kind of tell she was like, enough, bro.
Yeah, and he was like, I love it.
It's like,
we're going to do
listen
this
to this
all
heat.
night. Yeah.
Wait till we get to the fucking hotel.
Right. So you get Matt Cardona gets his internet title back.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, if you've been following Matt Cardona on social media, I believe it was Matt Cardona or maybe it was Chelsea Green who posted it. We are going to get in a future GCW event, Chelsea Green versus Alley Catch. So what do you think about that matchup? Chelsea Green, again, this is her first time in this GCW world. We saw at Glory Pro Alley Catch versus Warhorse, and that was a rough match. There was a lot of chair shots and brutal moves. So Allie's ready for this, right? Like she can come and do it.
Oh yeah, is Chelsea Green? Yeah.
One with Chelsea Green, if you're breaking kayfabe here for a second, she might have a bit of a glass body where it's a broken wrist here or a torn ACL there or a broken toe here. Hopefully she can get through the damn match, but we're going to find out.
I've seen Alley Catch like put her body through hell personally. Like we've seen it in front of our very eyes, right? Not through a screen. So yeah, I know she can go, right? I don't know about Chelsea Green. We'll see.
We will see. I'm interested, but I'm also interested in how Matt Cardona is infusing his world more and more into GCW. So first
That's
it was
the beauty of it all. Yeah.
Yeah. So first it was Matt Cardona, like a Trojan horse coming to the door. GCW lets him in. And I would not be shocked if then we see Brian Myers, Hornswoggle, or Swoggle that is. We're going to see Chelsea Green. I mean, his whole little stable of people, and I don't mean to say little people, but his stable of people Don't be shocked if Swoggle costs Nick Gage in a rematch with Matt Cardona.
So you brought this up, and live as we speak right now, I think Impact Wrestling is doing a show. You brought this up to me off air one time. You said, it is amazing how over Matt Cardona is getting as a heel by himself, doing whatever he wants to, like, he can manipulate it, and Impact Wrestling is trotting him out there as a babyface.
I don't understand what. Yeah, this is the most mind-boggling decision I've seen. I would understand if GCW wasn't getting the attention that they're getting. If you're like, hey, we just need a baby face. Matt Cardona looks the part, put him on any magazine or put him on any show and he'll check all the boxes. It's great. But in this community, at least from my perspective, GCW is the one ascending to, different levels of their company's promotions history, and Impact is kind of just in neutral. So why don't you take what's happening over here and say, now we're also doing it over on Impact? I will say GCW has a little bit of a head start though, because Matt Cardona is saying the culture of this company is bullshit.
He represents everything it's not.
Right. And Impact, they've had Christian Cage and Kurt Angle and things like that, but you can still, he's so creative, you can find another wrinkle of what he could do in Impact, and just, he should be the star.
He could be just shitting on all the supernatural things they do.
Yes. Yeah. Make him the bumbling idiot who hates all this stuff.
He could pull the plug. He could pull back the curtain, right, and show this isn't supernatural. You're flickering the lights over here with this fucking guy, right? Get everybody to be like, dude, don't fuck you, right? Don't ruin this for us, right?
Yeah. That he can do something. He's obviously creative enough with the internet title, back with the Long Island Z, all the stuff. He has it in him to come up with a fun story.
Matt Cardona has gotten himself over since the beginning of his fucking
so
career.
Many times. So many times. And here in Impact Wrestling, unlike GCW, he has all of his friends. They want to do the stuff with him.
Matt Cardona was on social media and YouTube, on that train before WWE was.
Oh, yeah.
He had to fight them to do more, and then they basically told him to stop and started doing it for everybody else. He was ahead of the game on that. He knows what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, he definitely knows what he's doing.
He's my favorite heel in wrestling right now. So, that's why, kind of one of the reasons, Impact, when I try to watch him, that's not the Matt Cardona I know.
Well, and it's just not even, it's not even a sympathetic, the limited, let me clarify this statement before I say it. The limited things I have seen of Matt Cardona in Impact Wrestling, it has been very generic. Hey, Brian Myers, we used to be friends, but now we're not. Let's have a good old proper wrestling match. What? I ain't seeing that shit. Anyhow, Matt Cardona gets the win. He's still in GCW. I don't know where he goes from here. I know who I want him to face next, because I want him to maybe die, and that would be kind of fun for me, but I don't know. If you were booking Matt Cardona, where are you putting him at in GCW on the card? Who are you putting him up with?
I love that he was in the world title picture. I get it's I would have kept him up there longer. It's easier to have somebody chasing a heel champion trying to throw him off. So I'm surprised they pulled that trigger so fast. That's where I still would have had him there, because then you still had this internet wrestling thing to do afterwards.
Whenever you want. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a little surprised at that. They must have had to rush this Moxley Gage thing. It sounds like, we're hearing Gage might be doing some other work maybe with AEW moving forward and some things. And Moxley might not be getting the green light for this too much longer, maybe. So maybe they had to rush that. I don't know.
Yeah. I think, in the immediate, whatever the next GCW pay-per-view is, I think we're going to get maybe a tag match, Effie Alley Catch versus Chelsea Green, Matt Cardona, right? But I'm saying after that feud, I know who I want him to wrestle.
Yeah, what do you want?
AJ Gray. Ooh, he can do all the fun stuff that he can have a WWE match if Matt Cardona is like, look, man, my body's kind of beat up. Let's just do some side tackles and some, shoulder tackle shit, And AJ Gray would be like, cool, I could totally do it. But if you want to go Nick Gage style and get a little crazy, AJ's meeting you there.
Here's the thing. We don't know who might also be showing up, like you're saying, because we've got other names. I mean, you can probably see one behind us right now if you're watching on the YouTube. Like, this is becoming a destination spot for some named, known household name pro wrestlers.
Yeah, definitely. I just the contrast in personalities with Matt Cardona and AJ Gray just excites me. Just that, down in the gutter, making it, doing whatever he can to get to the next day, AJ Gray, and then the super tan, hanging out on the pool side with a PBR bullshit, Matt Cardona. Those two people just locking horns. Sign me up.
Could be great.
Sign me up.
Could be great.
Now, let's talk about the person that is behind us. I think it's this way. All right.
Yep, you got it.
We had a 6-way scramble match. Gringo Loco, Jimmy Lloyd, Calvin Tankman, which I want to talk about, Braden Lee, Thunder Rosa, Dante Leon. I think I wrote those down right.
Thunder Rosa was like a surprise at the end. They didn't know. I mean, kayfabe, of course, but
yeah.
Which I'm going to move out of the way real quick. I don't know if you see this one, the guy with the headband, the gray headband, the beard. He's staring right at her ass, right directly. Follow the eyes. Hey, man,
Hey,
sometimes you do what you got to do, right?
Sometimes you window shop as long as you don't touch, right? That's, just saying.
Yeah.
I get it.
Right.
I get it. But Thunder Rosa comes out and good night. First off, huge surprise, right? We started the show off with Lio Rush. Honestly, I thought that was going to be the big surprise, right? Like, you got Matt Cardona, you got Jon Moxley, and Lio Rush. And that's what I thought would be
that one did leak. I think we had heard Lio Rush was going to work.
But we didn't have
But we didn't know when or where, right? And this one was out of nowhere from what I understood.
Out of nowhere. And she held her own. God bless Thunder Rosa. And here's where, again, I've been singing to the choir, I feel like, and I will say it on a mountain until I'm blue in the face. Look, Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega is the story of pro wrestling, and we all love it. Just watch the reaction when Hangman makes his return in that ladder match. Number one, right? Not even trying to debate that. But right behind that, I feel like you got to hit while the fire's hot. Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker. We got to do Lights Out too. Because in this match, she's fucking up everyone. Like, what do you want her to do in AEW? Wrestle Big Swole? Like, that's not worth her time. Get her into this Britt Baker match. Because this match here, I was just like, I love Thunder Rosa. She's my favorite. She's my favorite wrestler right now, regardless of gender. I think she's the best. Now, I have a lot in there, right? It's not just her, but I'm just saying she's in that small category with Hangman, with Matt Riddle, with Eddie Kingston. I'm circling them all together, and this is who I really like. I also, though, was very impressed with this Calvin Tankman. Heard his name a lot, seen pictures of him on Twitter and things like that. Never actually got to see him live. Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, man, they've got some fun talent in GCW, right? And they do a good job of getting a lot of them on the card for things like this. Yeah, I'm impressed with a lot of folks.
Yeah, and then Jimmy Lloyd, who I think is the Tommy Dreamer, and maybe I'm over categorizing who he is there, but it feels like Jimmy Lloyd is the Tommy Dreamer of GCW,
the like guy that we all want. Like, we're like, yeah, this guy because he's a loyalist and like
right.
We want to see
but
him
you
do
can put him heel, but you can put him heel, you can put him babyface. It's just he's gonna be here, right? Like he can get some offers from other people, but I don't think he's leaving, right?
Right. He'll be known as a GCW guy probably forever.
Wherever he goes, yeah. And so Jimmy Lloyd gets the victory here, which I thought was an interesting call because, again, you put Thunder Rosa in the match and you hotshot her in here to say, here's the big splash. I thought maybe you would go with her, but we didn't.
I know. I was shocked with that, yeah.
I was just very impressed. The three takeaways I had from this match was Thunder Rosa is the best. Thunder Rosa is number one.
She's great.
Calvin Tankman, I want to see more of. I know he's in other promotions, so now he's going to be appointment viewing for at least the, next few months while I still have him top of mind. And then Jimmy Lloyd is just get him a little bit more shine, right? Because we saw him in the barn wrestle Alley Catch when Kevin Gill shouted out Spanish Announce Table, which thank you so much, Kevin. Yeah. But I want to see Jimmy Lloyd maybe Jimmy Lloyd and Matt Cardona, right? Like that would be a fun contrast in just personalities and body types. But nonetheless, Jimmy Lloyd picks up the victory, and then we move into a tag match. It was a 6-man tag, and in this match, a person earned their GCW stripes. So it was the Second Gear crew of Matthew Justice, Mance Warner, AJ Gray, who AJ Gray is the best, versus Alex Colon, G Raver, and this Akira.
Yeah.
And if we're breaking kayfabe here for a moment, if we were to look backstage, it felt like the other 5 guys in this match were like, hey, this Akira guy, he's not a GCW person. So let's fuck him up.
Yeah.
We're going to fuck him up. And good night. Woo. What'd you think?
Yes. Brutal. This wasn't the one. No, that was it was the Chris Dickinson match when they threw somebody out of the crowd?
That was the next match, Shane Mercer and Yoa.
Yeah, okay, all right. Anyway,
yeah.
But this match again was brutal. I think the biggest takeaway, of course, is what happened afterwards. But I mean, this match was this is starting to get down and dirty, right? Like we're in a bar fight here, and I love it.
Yeah, but it just every time I felt like I was, in the moment of the match, because, sometimes you drift in and out and you're on Twitter for a second. You know how it is, right? Mm-hmm. But every time I got back into the match, it felt like Matthew Justice or AJ Gray or Mance Warner was like, I'm going to hit this guy, Akira, who is not a GCW employee. I'm going to punch him as hard as I can right in his chin. Like, fuck, man. They were. Yeah. It was just like, oh, I hope to see him again.
Parking spot, and they were like, fuck this guy.
Well, it kind of felt like when you get initiated into a gang, right? Yeah. You're just going to take this ass whooping. Fuck, man. But yeah, so the Second Gear crew get the victory. Very fun match here. Alex Colon, G Raver. G Raver's presentation's really cool. Looks like the fucking devil.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
Feels like someone you see walking down the streets of Independence.
Well, it's a good mix of saying like G Raver, but it's like Graver, and he mixes in like that kind of dead mix. So it's kind of like a good double, like it's a play on words, if you will. Yeah. It's not bad.
He looks like someone I went to high school with. Like, not actually, just that's the stereotype of someone I went to high school with.
Yep.
Side note, I went to high school with a guy who legitimately drove a hearse to school every day.
That's creepy.
And he would never answer about it. You'd be like, I think his name was Jesse. I think it was Jesse. And you're like, hey, Jesse, so like, what the fuck with this hearse? And he would just no sell it. He'd just like, and he'd walk off. He wouldn't like get mad or anything. He just would never talk about it. And I was just like, I'm staying away from him. I hope he likes me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, thanks, Jesse.
So, yeah, exactly.
Call me if you want lunch.
G Raver has those vibes.
Yeah.
Alex Colon is a deathmatch king, so his spot is gonna be good with this loss nonetheless. But after the Second Gear crew get the victory, AJ Gray fist bumps him, says, "Hey man, that was pretty hard. I'm gonna get out of here."
Yep.
Second Gear crew, they want to say like, we're the tag champs. Who the fuck can mess with us? We beat everyone here.
Listen, there's not a tag team that exists.
There's not a tag team that exists that can fuck with us. And next surprise of the night, we get the Briscoes coming out.
Loved it. The Briscoes fit like a hand in glove for this place.
Oh, this is If there was ever a tag team with this forbidden door that's open, it's something that I never thought of, and then once I saw it, it's like, exactly what I wanted.
Exactly.
Yes, this is who should be here.
Of course.
Again, Ring of Honor, they're legends. I know that what's his name was a champion for a minute there. They
Briscoe.
were tag champions. With Briscoe, right? But
Briscoe won.
Briscoe won.
Briscoe
was
the champion.
Yeah. And they've been multiple tag team champions. Ring of Honor legends, right?
Yeah. Legends. Delaware's finest.
Yeah.
Them boys.
I kind of want to just see him in GCW. Mm-hmm. Like maybe just loan him out.
Yeah.
Ring of Honor. Let's make a trade. Let's make a trade.
Well, it's like Jericho, right? He did everything he could do at WWE, so why not?
Yeah,
Go somewhere
come
else.
over here. The Briscoes and Second Gear Crew, good night. What? If you were to, I mean, like you said, this is a destination company right now. It almost seems like, on a larger scale, the Forbidden Door is AEW, but the real Forbidden Door is GCW because you get everyone.
It feels like it's the proving ground. It's like you want to legitimize yourself, right? Like, come here, motherfucker. If you can get over here, you're doing something right,
Yeah, and I don't always want to put this type of analogy on everything I see, but it feels like ECW, right? When Steve Austin gets fired from WCW, he goes to ECW. What the fuck can you do there, pal? Oh, I can do these amazing promos. Now WWE fucked it up and put him with Ted DiBiase and didn't let him speak. Whatever, but then he gets to WWE, right? Steiner Brothers. They go from WWE, drink a cup of coffee in ECW, and now they're in WCW. Like, it was just that middle point for these two promotions. And with AEW and WWE competing, we're going to talk about it here on Friday night now, which could be the new normal. It feels like GCW is going to be that place where it's like, hey, you got released from WWE, but AEW's card is a little bit full.
Glad you brought that up because I got a news item that I just saw as I was perusing before we started. Like, make sure we don't miss anything, right? Like, Ultimate Warrior dying or anything like that. We wouldn't want to miss that.
Oh, man.
Actually, we caught that live on the show. We did catch that live.
That was wild.
Yeah, that was wild. Game Changer Wrestling sent out the following press release today announcing that they will be launching a new sister promotion based out of California. The promotion will be called LA Fights and will debut on November 28th at 3 p.m.
Okay, I saw the headline of GCW presents LA Fights, but I thought it was just a pay-per-view, so it's actually a sister promotion.
So it said, similar to GCW's Jersey Championship Wrestling brand of the East Coast, LA Fights will provide an additional showcase for both the West Coast Rising Stars and SoCal Legends to compete on the GCW platform. Los Angeles has become a second home for GCW, said promoter Brett Lauderdale. When we returned to LA in August, we were welcomed with open arms. It felt great to be back, and it felt like there was an opportunity to do so much more. GCW has sold out all 3 of its events in Los Angeles since returning to LA after a pandemic hiatus, including their upcoming shows Bloodsport on October 22nd and October 23rd at the Ukrainian Cultural Center on Melrose. LA Fights will launch on Sunday, November 28th at 3 p.m. at the Don Quixote on Olympic Boulevard.
Oh, yeah. See, that GCW is so incredible.
And that event will stream live free for everyone on the GCW YouTube page.
Hey, there you go.
There you go.
Get some pro wrestling.
Yeah, and we'll talk more Brett Lauderdale here in a moment too. So
yeah, when you said that, I think of Bloodsport as Josh Barnett's just like love child, and I know Matt Riddle kind of did it before, and all that stuff. I forget that that's a GCW show.
It's a GCW event.
They do such good marketing and branding for each thing. It's kind of like if you remember back in the day when WWE would have unique sets for all their pay-per-views. Now, these are unique unique companies, but like Bloodsport. Now you're going to have Jersey Champion. Now this LA Fights. But then it's all the Fight Club of GCW.
GCW Universe, as Matt Cardona says.
Hey, take it easy. Take it easy.
Yes, I fucking love that guy.
Yeah, he's good. He is good.
Yeah.
So before we get back into the action, Brett Lauderdale does come back out and say, hey, I got an announcement.
Yeah.
Matt Cardona's left the building, so fuck that guy. I can say what I want, and here it is. And he calls out someone who we don't know. So he says... hashtag tweet the table if you know. Justin, I assume you know. You're listening. I assume you know. Maybe Kata, you know too. Let us know here. But he kept saying that someone was quoted as saying there's been a 1,000 GCWs.
I've seen 1,000 GCWs come and go.
Come and go. And Brett took this to heart.
Well, so did the crowd because they started chanting, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. So we've had a fuck that horse chant and a fuck that guy chant, right? This crowd...
It's perfect. It's great. So what they announced through a video package is that GCW will be making their promotional debut at the Hammerstein Ballroom. Now, think it's interesting. I think it's going to be cool. The presentation, and obviously if you're a pro wrestling fan and alluding back to the ECW, right? Like hand in glove, who would go there? It would make sense. GCW would go there. The only thing I thought that was interesting is in the presentation of this announcement, the video package. You have Effie, you have Allie, you have Nick Gage, but you had Matt Cardona.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me happy that, like, hey, breaking kayfabe here, he's a GCW guy.
Sticking around, yeah.
So that makes me happy. But if you go back into storytelling, why the fuck would you have him?
He's not the guy, right? Yeah, you're spitting on him. He was flipping him off as he was leaving the ring. Was Brett Lawler?
Yeah.
I was like, "Fuck you!" Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brett's flipping him off.
Uh-huh.
The crowd's flipping him off, and he's flipping off the crowd. So no one wants him here. So
Right.
I thought that was a little bit weird, but it made me happy that, like,
Because when it gets
Matt's
shared
here
on
for a while.
social media, people are gonna be like, "Oh shit, was that Zack Ryder?"
Right. Yeah. It had Jordan Oliver in there as well. It had some other folks. But yeah, when it had Matt Cardona, I was like, I like it. But from a storyline perspective, doesn't make sense. Anyhow,
Yeah.
splitting hairs there. But the Hammerstein Ballroom, what do you think about GCW going there?
Cool. I like it. It did the hammers. It gave an aura to the Hammerstein Ballroom in that video, right? Like they were in awe, like it was a Coliseum, and so they can build off of that. And I'm sure that event will feel like that based on GCW knows how to make these events come off as larger than life. GCW is the magic that's in the air, like at this event, and there's even more that we're going to talk about coming up with their special guest. There's just a magic in the air, and they're giving me something that I haven't felt from any mainstream wrestling in almost a decade or years, and that's uncontrollable smiles, right? Like I'm literally like, oh my God, this is great. I'm having an amazing time watching this event, and I can't say that for these other programs and shows that we've been watching.
Well, yes.
AEW.
Now, right,
you know,
but
right.
well, that's what I was going to say. There is a little bit of, again, you go back to the ECW days. New Jack was coming out to a Dr. Dre and Ice Cube song that no one cleared, but
Right.
that made the New Jack character, right?
Right.
And
So there is
not
some of
to
that.
say-
Yep.
Right. There's going to GCW. I don't think that there's, well, Effie comes out to Elton John's song and we
Yep.
all do the wave
Yep.
and stuff. So there's a little bit of like, we're not following the rules. Isn't
Right.
this fun? And then to your point, it's like, yes, I love it.
Yeah.
Now,
and it's easier to do when it's not every week and twice a
Right.
week and et cetera.
but then the challenge is going to be, okay, cool. Now you've done all of this amazing stuff. You're going to get bigger as you get more popular. Is Kevin Gill going to be allowed to say douche schnozzle? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that's then where, if you talk to the AEWs, the Ring of Honors, the Impacts, and obviously the WWEs, they're like, well, if we didn't have Toys R Us or whoever the fuck it is as our
Yep.
sponsor, we'd say the same shit,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we'd
from
use
a
light tubes too if fucking
Yeah.
TBS would let us. Right.
Right. So from a fan's perspective, this is the Wild West and this is the fun, right? This is like the Briscoes showed up.
Mm-hmm.
If I could have bet you all the money in the world and you could have gave me 10,000 guesses and I don't think I would have ever come up with
guessed
the
Briscoes.
Right.
Yeah.
But there they are and I love it. And so, yes, to your point, it's just edge of your seat, what's going to be said, what's going to be done, who's going to show up. Oh my God, this is so much cool. And that's why we're talking about it here when AEW's not doing a show.
Think we get Wyndham Rotunda in GCW?
Fuck yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I never even thought about that till just now.
right. Get some real, because that's one aspect of GCW that they don't do yet. Like you alluded to, they got the G-Raver who dresses like the fucking devil. But again, that feels real. Like, that doesn't feel like we're doing smoke and mirrors. That just feels like
he
that's
just
that guy.
he just walked out of his basement and was like, "Are you guys ready?
You're like,
Didn't you wear that
Okay.
last week?" Oh, I've been wearing it since last week.
yeah. So that is the aspect though of GCW with the, hoogly boogly blah 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 fun stuff, And yes. But again, we keep talking about Wyndham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt, coming back as Bray Wyatt.
Right.
I think he's so creative.
There's gonna be something wildly out of
It could be Wyndham Rotunda.
right.
Not spooky stuff, and it can get over just as Nick Gage does or
Yes.
anyone else. Yes. Sign me up. Forget Impact. I still want him to New Japan.
However, I do think he's played with, since the creation of that Bray Wyatt character, it was always a bit of that kind of borderline supernatural cultish, and then it kind of got deeper into that. Now, you're right. He could take a wildly left turn, but having heard him on some interviews and stuff, I think that's just kind of the way he thinks. So I would, if I'm a betting man, I'm betting that it's going to be something like that. But you're right. I mean, he could come out wildly left. I mean, part of this character recently was a Pee-wee's Playhouse knockoff, right? So, I mean, that's there. Yeah, that is there.
Yeah, yes. But if you were to say he shows up at the Hammerstein Ballroom in GCW,
especially if nobody saw it coming, except us,
I'd
of course,
melt
because we're the fucking greatest.
Yeah, I would melt. I would literally melt in my seat. I'd just be like, I'm done.
I'd buy another access to it, right? I'd buy like a second, pay-per-view access. Be like, just I want to give you guys double money.
Yeah,
You did
this
so
is,
good.
This is too great. Yeah. Hey, side note before we get back into the card, because now that announcement's been made, the pay-per-views are only, at least here in the One True Time Zone, it's only $20.
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
Whew, yeah.
So good.
These guys are also, by the way, they do like 2 shows when they roll into town too. They just they did this GCW Fight Club that we're hemming and hawing all over, and they did another one the next night.
Right. That's the Minoru Suzuki Joey Janella match. Yeah, of course. So hey, GCW, Kevin, we know you're listening. Come to Kansas City. We'll show you a good time. Killer City.
Look, there are some places that they're going to expect everything GCW's gotten more. There are some rough parts of this town that will love this.
Oh yeah, come here. Bad things happen in Kansas City. Nick Gage will feel right at home. Come. Come
here.
Hang out.
Come here.
Anyhow, let's get back into the card. So this is the match: Shane Mercer versus, and I'm going to mispronounce it, Yoa, Yoya.
He threw that motherfucker into the crowd like overhead press.
Yeah.
Launched him.
Yeah, this was
buff. To the 8th row? I mean, it was far.
Yeah, this was buff Bam Bam Bigelow throwing smaller Spike Dudley into the fucking 12th row. It was incredible. And Shane Mercer, I tell you what, visually, he reminds me of Test or like someone in the 90s who you're going to see in the mid-card. But his athleticism is outstanding.
Yeah.
The move that he did, Kevin and the other announcers, they didn't even know what to call it because it was like a tombstone back pile driver fucking, I don't even know what the fuck it was, but it was crazy. He is someone I like him.
Yeah.
I like this Shane Mercer. I like the other kid, other guy, he's probably my age. But because he can take an ass whooping, but Shane Mercer, woo.
That was literally the point of like how they were like, all right, well, that match is over, man. Jeez, he really took an ass whooping, but look at it. He's still on his feet. Like, I thought he'd been dead.
You put Chris Dickinson versus Shane Mercer.
Big meaty men slapping meat.
That's what you want to see. Love it. So Shane Mercer gets the victory. That was a great palate cleanser after the Briscoes, before the main event. Perfect spot in the card for it. But now we get into the main event.
Well, yeah. Yes.
But before we get to the main event, our special guest of the night, Mick Foley, comes out.
Which can be a coin toss sometimes.
It can be too self-involved and memories that only he knows about, talking to thousands of people who are blank stared.
A mania.
Yeah, it could be, I'm not sure what to do, so hey, what city am I in? You love it, But this promo felt like he was back home.
And it felt like he was, this legitimately, I think he had a promo and he had some things to hit, but a lot of this was off the top of his dome heartfelt. Like he was in awe of this event.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
And my favorite part was the building up to, can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Can I say one thing here?
Zoom
and
in.
I didn't know. Yeah.
He's like, don't listen to anything I ever said. Like, take this home with you.
And you're thinking like he's gonna say, I love this promotion the best, or I want to be someone's manager. Nope. It's Fuck Matt Cardona.
Fuck Matt Cardona. And he's the guy who doesn't cuss either, right? Like,
Yeah!
I think he's probably said 10 cuss words his whole life.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, and the crowd, before he could even get off the ground with his promo, they're just chanting all of his various gimmick names. They're like, mankind. He's like, all right, calm down. All right. Yeah. Now what I'm here for. And they're like, dude, love. Yes, it's fucking great. It was so great. Loved it. Yeah. And then that whole, like, another line he had was, he was like, listen, there's a reason I had to bring out the fanny pack, seeing all this stuff around here. I needed it as a hard-on guard. I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Yes. So great.
It felt, obviously he's been in other places in WWE and, other probably indie promotions where he's had fun. But this just felt like a throwback to just the funnest time of his career almost. It was great.
So the vibe is the same. Now, because there's some death match wrestling and it's a little bit hardcore in some matches and stuff. Not every one, but some. They do a good blend of that. There's death. Mm-hmm. Its identity is there's some death match and there's some hardcore, but there's also the Young Bucks style matches and there's also, just straight up wrestling matches. It's interesting. But so it gets the ECW comparison for that. But I think most like ECW is that vibe, right? It's this becoming this destination spot. It is the cool hip place. It is the, you're legitimate here, right? Like you are in with the in crowd of pro wrestling here. If you can fucking do this here with the boys will respect you, boys, gals, whatever we're going to say, and the crowd's you're over with the crowd. Like we know you're fucking cool. Like we got you now. Like we're going to be behind you.
Well, I mean, to further make that point, look at Matt Cardona, right? When he got released from WWE, we said, Zack Ryder. Yeah, we're like, Zack Ryder, well, that sucks for him, but, whatever. He'll go to Impact, right? Which he did, but, he'll go to Impact and he'll just be a guy. Yeah. Nope.
Yeah, to the point now where if he showed up on anything, if he showed back up at WWE tomorrow unannounced, I would mark out. I'd be like, oh, fuck, right? Now he's, in an instant been able to just elevate himself to my favorite heel in the industry.
But then if he showed back up at WWE, he would mark out and then instantly
I'd be like, why did you fucking come here? I'd almost hate him again. Like, boo this man. That would be his ultimate heel move, is going back to WWE. God damn it. Great. I love it.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Okay, so let's get back on track here. So it was the main event, champion Jon Moxley taking on challenger and the god of this shit, MDK, all motherfucking
Another
day.
Thing we haven't
Nick
talked about
Gage.
With GCW, that if people are just now, we've talked about it before on the show, but if you haven't really tuned in and listened and are hearing our words and thinking, maybe I'll check this GCW thing out. Another main takeaway that you'll not get anywhere else is these crowds in GCW and the entrances are unlike anything you've ever seen for very specific people. Matt Cardona's, they're going to stab him.
Yeah.
With Nick Gage, they are rushing to embrace this man and not let him go ever. You ever seen a kid that holds onto their parents' leg when they're trying to drag him out, that cliche thing? This is the pro wrestling equivalent of that with Nick Gage.
Yeah, but add, 600 to 700 people doing it at the same time on one leg.
God.
Nick Gage.
How this guy hasn't had coronavirus 17 times, I won't know, because these people want to be on him. They want to be link arm in arm and go in the ring with this guy.
Yeah,
they love Nick Gage to the death. They will kill you for him.
Mm-hmm. And credit to Jon Moxley. He came in there, again, here's another ECW comparison, and I'm sorry for always just beating the dead horse here, but it almost felt like, not with the same build-up, but it almost felt like this is the GCW version of Taz versus Sabu, where Sabu was the ECW guy, and so was Taz, but when you talked about ECW, it was, you got to check out this Sabu guy. He's crazy. He's nuts. Well, when you talk about GCW, you go, you got to check out this fucking Nick Gage. He's nuts. And then the other end of that pendulum in ECW was this tough motherfucker who was, stronger than anything, that will drop you on your head, and Taz. And now GCW has Jon Moxley, who isn't here to fucking do high fives or do promos that says, I love this shit and I love you guys. It's, I want to prove that I'm the best in the world. So John Moxley comes out and, he doesn't push anyone or anything like that, but he's like, I'm here to get into the ring. I don't care if you guys showed up or not. I love that vibe. That was the vibe I was looking for.
And the crowds get up in these. Some of these wrestlers, I applaud them for their.
Yep.
I mean, there are middle fingers. There is spit being spewed. Not like people aren't spitting on them, but like they're yelling, right?
Yeah.
And projecting. Especially now with the coronavirus thing, right? But it's just that it feels like the wrong move can spark something bad here, right? That's where it gets kind of an electric vibe where it's like, hey, I hope you've got a lot of security on hand. Like real security, because it seems like their security is just some extra fellas, right? Mm-hmm. Just a few of the boys just put a security shirt on.
People trying to be wrestlers. Yeah,
no, you might need some handcuffs right for this, but it gets hot.
Yeah, because it to your point, it even feels like you could fuck up and mess the whole matchup because you could be pissing off a babyface, and now the crowd hates him because he punched some 16-year-old in the face because the 16-year-old put his finger in his butt.
There's a great thing when Cardona was coming in. There's a lady, I mean, she's probably 60-something, and she's double birds in the air, and like right when he gets by her, she drops a bird, and she's like, "Fuck you!" right in his ear. And he's just like, Jesus, right? Like trying to get in the ring, like fucking lady.
Yeah. So this match, we get Mick Foley on commentary. Again, Jon Moxley champion, Nick Gage as challenger. This was good. It left a little bit to be desired, I would say.
Yeah, I think I've seen more out of these guys in that regard, which, I mean, I am not the death match wrestling guy, right?
No.
I can deal without it. I don't need it. In fact, sometimes it takes away from me. So I kind of appreciated that, albeit I think the match was still kind of quick, and maybe they were running out of time. Maybe others went long.
That's what, maybe the Thunder Rosa and the Briscoes surprise and stuff like that was the like, oh shit, we're kind of running low. But I mean, they did the stuff, right? Like, if you were to write down what they did.
The start of the match was great. We didn't even get the announcement off, and he fucking nails him with the tubes. Yeah. Yeah,
but then we got the pizza cutter to the mouth. I mean, geez, just saying that. Good night. That's just accepted. Just accepted in this fucking world. You got the pizza cutter
to his mouth.
I just had the biggest self-realization of what the fuck I'm doing. Just
go into work tomorrow and tell people what you talked about on your podcast last night. I'll send you the clip later. I'll get this up.
And just, the pizza cutter.
The pizza cutter, right? Ask Domino's about that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But so going back to the match, the finish felt a little quick.
Yeah.
I think also the finish to me was surprising.
Yeah.
If I were to bet money on this, I thought this was when we give the title back to Nick Gage.
This is what makes me think maybe Nick Gage isn't going to be around as frequently as he's been.
I mean, look, I know he keeps saying he's going to do it till he dies, and he probably means it, but I don't think we want that to happen, right? Like, right. So let's use
post
some more
match. He even says
attraction.
that, right? He addresses the crowd and he's like, "You motherfucker, this is what I'm doing this for, right? Like, you guys, like, even like I know this fucking hurts, and I'm killing myself, but I'm gonna do it for you, But it's just like okay, but man, can't you also do something else for me that's not killing yourself?
Yeah.
I didn't ask you to do this for me, man. Like, you say you're doing this for me, but I feel like you're doing it for yourself because I didn't ask for this.
Yeah, you got me in. I'm here now.
Right.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here for you. Yeah. And on the other side of that, with it felt a little quick. You also had them bleeding pretty early, and you can't just be bleeding for an hour, right? Like eventually you're going to bleed out.
That happened.
And pass out.
So he's given the announcement, which the announcer, I forget his name, but I like that guy too.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's like, John, and then wham with like 17 glass tubes. God.
Yeah.
Taped together. Light.
Well, and then Jon Moxley's back. Yeah. And then Jon Moxley's back was just so again, maybe it was quick because maybe Jon Moxley did hey, I think my vision's getting blurry. Let's fucking get home. Like we don't know, but it did again. Felt a little rushed. Side note, because this is so much fun to talk about, that ring announcer who I can't remember his name. I love because talking about like the Wild West and we just do whatever we want. He was wearing a 1992 WWF Royal Rumble shirt.
Yeah, right. Well, and same thing. So like he's like doing the announcement. He's like John Moxley, and then like, he gets hit, and he's just like, okay, well, fuck this, and he like just like gets out of the fucking ring like, fuck these guys.
Yeah,
I loved it. Nobody's smarting him up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing. He's like, God damn, fuck.
Wipes the glass out of his eyes.
Shit, man.
So John Moxley gets the victory. It was clean. Again, in a death match, it was clean.
Yeah.
No shenanigans.
Right.
Because when Nick Gage loses his title to Matt Cardona, that's when Ricky Shane Page costs him the opportunity, right? So this is just a clean loss.
Moxley's
for
better
Nick
than
Gage.
you.
And Moxley's better than you on this night. So what happens?
Now, who's Moxley going to defend it? So Moxley even said he didn't want that title. He just wanted to fucking beat Nick Gage.
Mm-hmm.
So now who challenges for the title? Is it Cardona going back for it?
Well, because, Cardona.
Because we haven't had Cardona versus Moxley, really.
Yeah, it was a quick, finisher, that's it kind of match.
A death match between Cardona and Moxley?
That would be so weird. That would be so weird. I feel like they like each other too much to really go into it. Or maybe they like each other too much, they'll really get into it.
Or we get Wyndham Rotunda.
Yeah, don't play. I mean, I love that you're putting it out there, right? Because then maybe it happens,
Believe it to achieve it, Tom.
Exactly. Yes. Believe it, achieve it, dream it, whatever. Walk in faith or whatever the fuck they say. Yes, all that stuff.
Manifest.
I could see Cardona getting back involved in the title picture. Although, again, I want AJ Gray, but nonetheless. You could do a triple threat, right? Cardona says, hey, Moxley, you stole one, and now you're stealing my photos post match because he posed with the middle finger just like Matt Cardona did, right?
Yeah. I know you only want to be a death match because I was the death match king, right?
Right, and Moxley's like, hey, if we're doing this, I'm only wrestling one guy, so you can come in here, but I'm also wrestling Nick Gage, and he's just like, I'm wanting Nick Gage in this.
Yeah, I want to beat his ass again. I didn't do it enough. Right. He still stood up and talked. I wanted to kill him.
Exactly. Yeah, I want to kill him, something like that.
That can be even fun in the match that, like, every time fucking Cardona tries to fight, Moxley just pushes him off and goes back to beating up Nick Gage. Like, get the fuck away from me.
Get out of here. Fucking pest.
Fucking dork.
Get out of here.
Go back up north.
Yeah. So there it is. That was our GCW Fight Club. Very, very fun
Great show.
Worth the money.
So now I know a lot of our listeners, you know what I mean? If you don't have the reference and stuff, we can't encourage you enough to find this online, pay for the replay, or do whatever you got to do, right? Find this and watch it and then go back and listen to what we said. Like, if you don't love what's going on here, man,
this ain't the show for you then.
Yeah, then we ain't never. Yeah, we ain't.
We're not going to be for you.
So great. I mean, again, I would never myself book like a death match, right? It's just not my thing. But even here, it's done well enough that you're like, Jesus, man, right? But it's not like, hold on, this is assault, right? Like somebody's got to arrest this guy, right? Yeah.
Well, we talked about that the last time we mentioned a GCW pay-per-view where they have that ultra-violent championship, and that just feels like my point of watching this stuff has been reached with that title and that title picture.
Right.
Like, I don't want that.
Right.
But with Nick Gage and John Moxley, there was the story of there's a specific type of match, and I'm the king of this shit. No, you're not. I am. Okay, we're going to see who can push it to the limits.
I mean,
we're talking into that
some
story.
glass and some things like that, but and like a pizza cut to
the mouth.
To the mouth there. It's not, we've seen some things where they're stapling shit to people's heads and stuff like that. Like we're not.
Mance Warner getting Mance Warner getting his tongue stapled to that door.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Like that's when it's starting to reach me. I'm like, all right, so there is some of that. I'm not gonna lie to you if you're really turned off by that. But this show was great. The other things aside from that, there's matches that don't even do that at all. Just clean
Leo
wrestling
Rush,
matches.
right? That first match of the night, Leo Rush, Ninja Mac, and
The
Alex
Matt
Zane.
Cardona match. Well, there was a little bit of bleeding in that one, but I think that was not like as a
that
death
was pro
match
wrestling
aspect.
bleeding.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
that was pro wrestling bleeding, right? This was my favorite GCW experience so far. I'm excited to see what happens next. I'm very excited for that Hammerstein Ballroom show that they got coming up. I believe they said in January.
And when they come to Kansas City.
Oh, please, Kevin.
Brett.
Come. I'll give you barbecue.
We know some people who have venues.
Yes. I'll take you to all the barbecue spots. I'll
Right?
just drive you around.
Do you know some people who have venues, right? You can make some calls.
Oh, I know
right?
all the people. Yeah.
Yeah, you can make some calls.
I could take you to the first place I could take you to the place where Ric Flair won his first ever world championship. You could do a show there. He beat Dusty Rhodes for the NWA
You talking the
Heavyweight
Hy-Vee?
Championship. No, I'm talking about Memorial
Memorial.
Hall.
Yeah, I was thinking Kemper. No, but Memorial. Right.
Memorial Hall. I have the keys to that fucking place, Brett. Come over. I'll take you
Memorial
there.
Hall in Kansas City is
And that's a GCW place.
there's even been sporting events that happen there, right? I mean, hasn't there been?
That's Patsy Cline's last concert.
Mhm.
You had Kiss play there.
Yep.
You've had Kurt Angle's wrestled there
Right.
against Christian
We
Cage.
talked about
That was
Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair.
Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair. You currently have Invicta taking place there, the all-female MMA show. I got the keys, man. Come on, Brett, Kevin.
It's right downtown Kansas City, right up the
it's
highway.
right next to a casino. It's right
it's right
next to
at
a
the
casino.
It's right at the highway. If anybody needs to get out of town quick,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or if you want to do a street fight, it has all the fucking great fun
oh, it's
stuff.
got. There's going to be some street fights around you anyway, so you might as well do a street fight out there.
Yes. Come visit. Come visit.
Hey, I'll build a barn out here on the land. I've got 40
Yeah,
acres
we'll
out
get
here.
really
I'll
crazy if you want to. Yeah.
I'll
we'll
get you
really
ready.
nuts
Well,
if
you can
want
do
to.
another. Yeah, you can do a Kansas barn show. Let's do it.
Yeah.
You did Wyoming. You know?
Yeah,
Come
why
on.
not? It's right
Let's
next
do
to the
it.
racetrack.
All right, so GCW Fight Club, go check it out. If you haven't seen it or the next GCW event coming up, we highly encourage it. And you love us, so you would listen to us. Also, use hashtag Tweet the Table on Twitter. We are the voice of the voiceless, the podcast of the people. The people didn't have much of a voice this week. We had one of those, so we'll read that later. Normally, we'll start the show with that when we have 7,000 of them or however many we have.
Obviously.
We will read those on the show. Hashtag Tweet the Table. SpanishAnnounceTable.net for all the social media links, our PayPal donations, all that kind of jazz. Do all that.
Yeah,
But let's talk about something else that happened. And that was AEW Rampage. And there was some fun stuff that happened on last Friday's AEW Rampage. There's another one coming up tomorrow. We record this on Thursdays. But, are they doing Rampage tomorrow? Since they're doing the Dynamite Saturday? Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's where we can talk about that here in a second, but that's where the buy-in with Minoru Suzuki versus Bryan
right.
Danielson
Yep.
on YouTube.
God damn.
God. We'll get into it.
Yeah. So let's talk about last week's
Yeah,
AEW
last week's.
Rampage. You had CM Punk and Daniel Garcia. Let's dig into that, right?
This was good. Now, before I give my opinion of this match, I do want to mention how in the IWC community, it is internet wrestling community, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The news on Rampage is that ratings keep declining, right? And we're throwing CM Punk at you here. We obviously have had Kenny Omega on the show before, things of that nature. I think this was a fun match. Daniel Garcia, CM Punk was really fun. But I hope that this is a wake-up call, I guess you could say, for AEW that says it's cool to put on a match, right? If I say Daniel Garcia versus CM Punk, you're going to be like, okay. But the real kicker to get people making sure that they're going to watch on Friday night is the story.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Yeah, because this did great to highlight Daniel Garcia, right? Showed how good he is. And we've been asking, man, they really love this guy. And people quickly came to his defense saying, yeah, he's that fucking dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we're like, oh, okay, all right, shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll watch. And he did amazing in here. I liked him more than I liked Punk in this match, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But, it's that, okay, well, cool. I can only see you grooming so many guys before I'm like, all right, this is the CM Punk coaching hour here.
Yeah.
Let's...
Well, and again, because it lacks the fire, it lacks the story. I'm okay if for the next 2022, CM Punk is wrestling anyone under the age of 25.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
hate that.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. What
but
I
it shouldn't
don't
be your main point of the show, right?
Well, but it also shouldn't just be, next up it's let's look at Sammy Guevara.
Yeah.
Sammy, I
Dante
haven't wrestled you.
Martin.
Yeah, I haven't wrestled you yet. Get in here. And it's like, well, that's not compelling, right?
Right.
I want to see some compelling stories. And here's the thing. For me, calling card on CM Punk is not his matches. His matches
Yeah.
are fine. But his calling card is the story, is the promo, is the moments. You know, you go back to his match at WrestleMania 29 with Undertaker. The match was fine. It happened. But what I remember from that is on the Monday Night Raw where Paul Heyman dressed up as Paul Bear and CM Punk pours out the ashes of what is Paul Bear. That's what I remember about that feud. The match is fine, but like, that's the stuff. That
shit was great.
Right. And that's what we know he's capable of. So like, do it. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, it was fine. It was good. This match, that is. Okay. But now let's turn it up.
People seem to be forgetting, like, one of the key tenets of wrestling was because we're staging it, like, we know how to like really fake create a storyline, a fake storyline that people will buy into. Now we all know it, you know what I mean? Fake, right? Now we all know it's staged and we're on the up and up, but like, it's still that. Like, even more so that I know it's scripted, I need you to tell me a compelling story, or else I'm like, yeah, I get it. The guys do a lot of cardio on their off time. Yes, they're athletic. They can do a bunch of flips. I can go to my high school down the street and watch a bunch of guys do a bunch of fucking flips. I get it. I can't do it. It's impressive, but 20% of the population can, right? I don't know the number, right? So it's not like it's like, I've got to stop everything I'm doing and watch this.
Right.
I need you to tell me why I should care that he's doing it.
Yeah, because again, if you like the athleticism, well, let me introduce you to floor gymnastics.
Right.
Like, they are going to give you
right.
They're going to give you way more than what pro wrestling's giving you. So yeah, I need the story.
And that, like, even where we say, okay, so we don't even like the Young Buck style of like flip, jump all over. Like, we want it slowed down and more, you know, maybe like a UK version of like a hard hitting fight wrestling technical match where there's a lot of like reversals and stuff like that. CM Punk is still not even in the top 10 of that in the world.
Right.
So like, I'm not stopping everything I do on a Friday night to make sure I watch him do an arm drag, right? Like,
well, but then even there again, and we could do this all night, but like, if you like the chain wrestling and all of that, and that's what you're tuning in for, let me introduce you to Olympic wrestling.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
right, yeah.
I can
show you some shark bait videos, right?
Yeah, like I can show you like high level stuff. Pro wrestling is where we take all of these elements and we tell a story.
Right. We do a live action theater version of that.
And you can have
live action theater version of that.
Yeah, and you can have these elements, right? But like, yeah, the story. And this one, for as long-winded as we've been on this, there was somewhat of a story, right? Because Daniel Garcia ruined the moment between him and Darby Allin. So there was something, but it wasn't enough.
Tom, I'm going to even tell you, one of the best stage shows I've ever seen was in Branson, Missouri. It was the Amazing Acrobats of Shanghai. Right? Acrobats. I mean, I'm talking they're stacking 17 chairs and doing a handstand on it and shit like that. And they're doing some of the most amazing jumping around, contorting their body at like core to the max athleticism. And with each act, they still told a fucking story about it. There was still a fucking setup. There was still a fucking character. There was still a villain or something, right? Like, there was still a story.
No, I agree.
They went out of their way to make sure you understood there was a story.
Yeah. Anyhow, so that was that match. What was next?
We had an AEW World Tag Team Championship. I don't know if this is in order. I think it was, right? AEW World Tag Team Championship match between the Lucha Bros and the Acclaimed. And we were looking forward to this one big time.
Yeah. And I think we were looking forward to, again, we loved the Max Caster promo.
Yeah.
Now, as we go, because you had mentioned what was the order and you are reading the correct order, what do you think about what Rampage is doing here? Where it seems like the formula is the main event first, something to keep you around, and then the starter match is the main event.
So, and I think that we've discussed that where that's kind of what you almost have to do in a day and age in something where you're not like absolutely a destination spot, right? Mm-hmm. You're not the national championship game where we've got to watch all the way through to see who wins, right?
Right.
Because people have other entertainment options literally at their hand that they're perusing while watching you. Mm-hmm. You got to hook them right away. So this idea of like don't give away everything for the main event. It's like, well, you might not keep me that long. I feel like an hour show isn't necessarily the same thing you should take that with.
That's my point is because what on the flip side of that thought
declining ratings each week
is like I saw CM Punk.
Right.
I'm not gonna.
Well,
I saw whatever.
They have declining ratings each week, so
maybe we need to flip the script.
Yep.
But yeah, going back to this World Championship match, Max Caster's promo. Because this was the Philadelphia one, right? Where he said, fuck, basically the crowd said, fuck Ben Simmons, you know?
Yeah.
He said he's packing like Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
That was a fun line.
Yep.
That was all fun. It was great. And the Lucha Bros are still zero, miedo, right here.
Charisma off the charts.
Yeah, right here. Look at this. Huh? It's right here all the time. Love it. But this kind of felt like a squash. You know, it felt like a little bit of like, Lucha Bros go,
Well, maybe that's, what I mean? Max Caster's still getting out of the doghouse, if you will. So maybe it was like, hey, you're not on the Lucha Bros level right now. And that's fine.
And, now that I'm talking this out loud, because I didn't really give it much thought, maybe that was by design because let's not forget, Andrade has a tag team, I believe, on Dynamite that he wants to introduce to the Lucha Bros. So you got to make them look strong before you tear them down.
Right. Could be.
Ooh, yeah, I'm excited to talk about that. But yeah, so it was a fun match. Again, the rap is what I tuned in for. The match was cool and it was good. And I like both guys, Bowens and Caster. They're fun. I like the scissoring. I like their moveset. I like the elbow for Max Caster. It's not like I dislike them. It just felt like this was a squash.
Yeah. Jade Cargill defeated the Sky Blue.
That happens.
Yeah. And again, they're booking Jade Cargill to look unbeatable and like a,
and she does, right?
Yeah, a comic book character, which she does, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we've got this new hose title or TBS title, excuse me, that we got to put on someone, and it looks like we're putting it on Jade because she is just tearing up everyone in the ring. And I love
somebody
it.
on Twitter tried to give a shit for that video clip.
No.
Yeah, they had like quote tweeted it and they were like, they know it's the TBS logo, but that's not controversial and won't get clicks, right? And they like quote tweet our thing. And so my instant thought was like, well, thanks for the exposure. And two, not a single person liked their tweet, not a single person retweeted it, nobody commented on it. I was like, yeah, right, well, fuck you guys. So, but thanks for the exposure. Thanks for tweeting it out to your several thousand.
But also, we've been doing this so long, we're not gonna say bottom barrel stuff just for attention. You know what I mean? Like we're saying it because we say it.
Well, and first of all, welcome to all of media production.
Right. For that reason. Yeah.
Thanks. We can tell you from having done this for fucking, a combined 20 plus years, right?
Yep.
That is how you fucking do it. And in the video, we discussed very heavily how we knew it was the TBS logo, why it looked like the hose thing, and they teach you how to write fucking headlines in journalism school. Sorry if that bothers you. Anyway.
Oh. Right. Yeah. But again, we didn't go into that segment going like, this is going to get the clicks.
This is a hose title. No, that was just the title. I chose like, did they really make a hose title? Like, I thought that was funny. Fuck off.
Yeah, so whoever that was, suck it.
FTW Championship match. Here we go. Ricky Starks, Brian Cage. Still not done?
No, we're done.
God,
I think we're done.
Yeah.
I think we're done.
I think Brian Cage might be done.
Well, I still think outsider's perspective, not knowing who he is or anything like that, outsider's perspective, you still got money in him. It feels like. But
he's tailor-made for the WWE, though, I feel like, right? He's got the WWE diet. He'll have a gimmick over there.
Oh,
they like people. You don't have to have a whole lot of personality over there to be highlighted these days.
Oh, you put him with the Steiner guy, the Steiner's Rick Steiner's
Braun Breaker.
Son? I'm not saying that name.
Yeah, you are. Say it.
Nope.
Say his name. Say his name.
Rick Steiner's son.
Say my name.
Whatever. Who's that?
The fucking Velveteen Dream.
Oh,
Patrick Clark.
Yeah.
He's out.
GCW.
Yuck. Fuck, show up there. Stab somebody. Let's get your career back into.
Or get stabbed.
Get stabbed. And you'll be back on. Everybody will be like, oh, yeah, stabbed.
Right. No, but with Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, it feels like, okay, we're done here. Now this is the challenge because you did it, right? You got to the end game of what Team Taz was.
Now what? Yeah, I'm ready to see Ricky Starks shine, but I don't know that like we need Powerhouse Hobbs and Hook for that. I like the idea of like if it was just Taz was his manager and Hook was the guy who did the dirty, right? He was the bag man, and Powerhouse Hobbs was off doing his own thing, and then Ricky Starks is the guy, and they're all just like it's just Taz and Hook trying to help, Ricky Starks. I think I would like that better. Now it feels like Powerhouse Hobbs is the outlier for me in that regard, right? Like, And
I don't know if you've been paying attention to kind of the AEW stands, as they call them, but everyone loved Hook. Everyone is into Hook. We can't wait for the first match.
They had a Punk Fears Hook sign in the
Punk
crowd.
Fears Hook.
I love it.
Punk kind of leans into it. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing with Hook that I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't either, but I think it's just because it's like fun. You know what I mean?
It's fun.
Yeah, right.
Like, I love Taz. Taz is one of my favorite.
I think it's one of those tongue-in-cheeks where like we know that's not a guy, but like fucking
we're gonna
bring him in here.
Yeah.
We want Hook now. Nope, you can't fucking put the soda back in the can now, right? Yeah.
You're right, but maybe he is a guy because again, we haven't seen him wrestle. I've never seen him wrestle, so I'm interested.
He's got something, right? People are.
But I just don't get it. But I don't get it.
But like, but it's not like when we're like Jeff Hardy, I don't get it, right? Or we're like, what was it? When I was like CM Punk, I don't get it, right?
Yeah.
It's not like I don't get it and I kind of don't like it. Like I don't get it, but I like it. I'm like, I want more of this. Fuck it. I'm now on Team Hook officially. I'm like, fuck it. I'm all in for
Grow
Hook.
Its hair out even bigger. Make the hair even longer,
Dude, all right, my son is 14 and his fucking hair. It's like fucking hair curling. We're like, you can like just swoop that over a little bit. And he's like, I can see just fine. We're like, no, you cannot.
Yeah.
No, you cannot.
How many fingers do I have up? Huh? How many fingers do I have up?
And we're like, did you comb it at all? And he's like, nah. Just literally, it's everywhere. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, nobody wants to hang around with a guy with his hair like that. And then like, Hook, he's got girlfriends and shit. And I'm like, I guess I'm wrong. I don't fucking know. And then there's Hook, and everybody's like, fucking Hook. And it's like, all right, well, fucking, maybe he's onto something. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'm out of touch and old. Couldn't be the case.
No.
Couldn't be the case. All right, so Rampage. Rampage is a thing. Tomorrow night, Rampage is going up against SmackDown on FS1 with a new SmackDown overrun. They're going to go 2.5 hours. This is starting to they are now, remember when WWE was like, we're not even going to mention their name, and AEW was like, competition? That's preposterous. Don't say that. In short order, now they're like fucking Tony Khan's tweeting. They're like, fuck these guys. We're doing an overrun. Things are starting to heat up in this little battle.
Oh, and Tony Khan's doing interviews with Barstool Sports saying like, Monday Night Raw sucked last night, didn't it? And like the interview's like, it kind of did. Yeah, it's interesting how quick we went, as Drake would say, 0 to 100. That gets the young kids listening. And yeah, the last 30 minutes of SmackDown is commercial free, which suck a dick. And I think it's going to be Becky, Sasha, Charlotte, some combination of those three, or maybe even Bianca tag team match or something.
But don't be shocked if they don't pull something out where like, oh, the fucking Rock comes back, because they're like, fuck these guys. We're going to fucking.
I'm telling you this, Tim, right now. I am over 100% of the shock moment that WWE tries to give me every single time.
Yeah.
That it doesn't even register anymore.
And we're going to talk a little bit more when we do our one tweet the table this week about WWE and stuff. But like, we're going to say this a lot in the weeks to come and maybe into perpetuity. We need you. Like, we've heard people say like, well, but they make the most money, so they can't be doing something right. You who says that, you who likes this and you who watches every fucking hour of WWE programming each week, we need you to tell us why. What is the substance you're after? Yeah. What? Because everybody, I heard people like arguing like, was the Brock Lesnar return pop louder than the thing? And I'm like, why would you fucking pop for Brock Lesnar showing up for no reason?
I'm being serious. Like, you could have Stone Cold Steve Austin give a stunner to Roman Reigns, and I will go, okay. But
and that's the thing.
They won't capitalize on it.
My example again, the Brock Lesnar pop. Brock Lesnar has done this once every year and a half for the last 10 years. For the last 10 fucking years, he shows up once every year and a half. It's not shocking. Why did you pop like it was a shock?
Right. And now it's fun, right? Like he'll have a fun match and that's okay. But like,
yeah, he might monkey fuck somebody around the ring for a little bit, but like,
yeah, it's just, I don't care. But with this being said, so let's go back to the competition.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Rampage is coming up. So
hold on. So we have SmackDown doing an over 30 minutes. So then AEW says, hey, you know where we can beat you? Is YouTube can be seen all across the world multiple times.
Yep.
And so if you say like, oh, we did 2 million on FS1, they didn't, but like, and AEW only did 990,000. Well, AEW can turn around and say, well, our YouTube buy-in show with Bryan Danielson versus Minoru Suzuki did 4 million views in 24 hours or whatever it is. Yeah. Who watched what? You know what I mean? And they're going to be doing that for the last hour of SmackDown. This is fun.
Yeah.
This is fun.
This is real fun. Yeah, and they got Bobby Fish versus Lee Moriarty and Bryan Danielson versus Minoru Suzuki on the buy-in. So Danielson's going to beat Suzuki here, but this match is going to be.
Do you think so?
Well, maybe not. I can see Danielson losing and being like tip of the cap. You know what I mean?
Well,
to the legend.
Well, or you get Bryan Danielson's next feud because we'd mentioned where does Bryan Danielson go because Kenny Omega looks like he's going to be getting with a new program or back to the program with Hangman Adam Page. I could easily see Minoru Suzuki, Bryan Danielson fuck each other up for 35 minutes. Bryan Danielson looks to get a submission. Suzuki-gun, Lance Hoyt, or Lance Archer, comes in, says, hey, Bryan Danielson, you ain't doing this to my guy. Clothesline, get the fuck out. Minoru gets the victory. Now on Dynamite, we get Lance Archer and Bryan Danielson, and then they go do their thing.
I think you called it.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. Called it. And then Lee Moriarty.
Is he still the U.S. champion in IWGP?
No, he lost it. He lost it to
Tanahashi.
Yes.
No, I don't know.
We don't fact check.
I don't know.
But yeah, that, and then you're going to get all the technical fun stuff with Bobby Fish and Lee. The only thing with that is Bobby Fish is so brittle. I'm afraid he's going to rip a hamstring or something because he's supposed to wrestle Bryan Danielson on Saturday night on Dynamite.
Yep.
So,
well, we're also going to get Ruby Soho versus the Bunny. Now this could be fun.
You know what would be awesome? Let's shock the system. As Undisputed Era used to say, let's have Butcher and the Blade just turn on the Bunny and join Ruby Soho. Turn Ruby Soho heel. That's Butcher and the Blade and Ruby Soho. They're the new fucking tandem. We're not with Matt Hardy. Fuck all that shit. We're a new thing.
Yeah, get all that like I've got bodies in my fucking barn gear off you and go punk with Butcher and the Blade. Now, breaking kayfabe, they won't do that because Blade is married to Bunny in real life. Yeah. So it's like, but do that. Gotcha. Do some shock the system. You know what I mean? Yeah, minus. Do something. Yeah. We'll get CM Punk versus Matt Sydal, which I don't know. It's going to be fun. They know each other. Yeah. But again, the match isn't the story. This isn't even building up a new star, though. It's like Matt Sydal might not ever wrestle in AEW. You know what I mean? For all I know. Well, but that's not the story. Right. But that's not the story. The story is Lio Rush got him this match. Look what he can do for Matt Sydal. The story is Lio Rush, Dante Martin, Matt Sydal. It just happens to have CM Punk because we got to have CM Punk. Yeah. CM Punk must pose. That's the story. And then we get Inner Circle versus Men of the Year and Junior Dos Santos with Dan Lambert and Jorge Masvidal. Interesting times we're living here. I see people very torn about American Top Team's involvement. People hate this or they love it, and I'm on Team Love It. I love Dan Lambert, right? Yeah. I think what he's doing is great. I love Dan Lambert, yes. Yeah. And the Men of the Year, his involvement with them. And I like American Top Team when it's used as, for example, when Sammy Guevara got jumped. Use them for those things, right? Junior Dos Santos is... Yeah. That scares me. Yeah. Couple of reasons. Junior doesn't know his own strength. I sent you an article from the New York Times or Post, one of them. Breaking ribs. He was fucking around Tony Khan and broke his ribs on accident. Hey, how scared are you when you break a billionaire's ribs? Mm-hmm. Do you shit a little bit? Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's all the bodily functions just come out. You're crying, snotting, shitting, and peeing. Just there it all is.
Yeah. You think he apologized to Dan Lambert too? Like, I'm sorry if I got you fired.
Yeah. Well, and then the other thing is, he's such a nice guy. Mm-hmm. So if you're an MMA fan, you know, like Junior Dos Santos is on the short list of nicest people in the sport.
Okay.
Like genuinely the nicest.
But we'll rip your head off.
Well, yes, but like he doesn't want to. You know what I mean? Like he's doing this.
I'm getting paid for this. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing this because he likes the sport. He's not doing this because he wants to stay out of jail and he's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's not because his dad used to beat him when he was young and he has aggression, right?
Yeah, so I just don't know if he's going to be able to, you know, kayfabe, body slam Jake Hager. Like, I just don't know if he's capable of that. I don't give a shit
at this point. Right. If he's going to rough somebody up, let it be Jake Hager, right?
Right. And then the other part about this that I find interesting
Junior Dos Santos vote for? Let maybe tell him that. Maybe whisper in his ear who Hager voted for. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, who knows? But the interesting part is, I think, if I'm reading into this, it feels as if we're building up to doing something with Jorge Masvidal, right? He's going to be on the outside. He need Chris Jericho. Super necessary, all that stuff. Here's the monkey in the wrench with those plans. It was announced in January, which isn't that far away.
He's got to fight.
He's going to be fighting Leon Edwards, who they hate each other, and Leon is very, very good.
So they got to do that now.
Or they just don't do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how this is going to go over, but it should be fun.
Should be fun.
I'm a homer here. Junior Dos Santos is my favorite heavyweight of all time, so I'm biased.
So what I got to guess is he's probably been working with Hager, right? Since that's a guy who can kind of handle him, you know what I mean, or take the beating if he's being a little rough in practice. And they probably worked a couple of spots for him. That's why this is a tag match.
Yeah. I hope the end result is Ethan Page or Scorpio Sky comes out of this looking like $1 million.
This is kind of like Shaq's match, but if Shaq could fight. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He's gonna come.
Shaq did great though.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like,
great.
But like, you know, if Shaq actually had like a punch behind him, like this kind of, you know, what I mean, here comes this big motherfucker in here to like fuck everybody up.
Whatever. Is Shaq coming back? Remember, he just disappeared in the fucking. In AEW, he's still missing.
He escaped into the forbidden door. He's gonna come back through someday.
Yeah, I hope so. Mm-hmm. What if he shows up at GCW? I'm kidding. That would be wild. He shows up with his own pizza cutter. It's the Papa John's pizza cutter. And he goes after Nick Gage.
I'm emailing Shaq tonight.
Wouldn't that be great? That would be great. A Papa John's.
Told him, like, hey, look, Domino's got pissed about it. You could come out and be cool about it, and you're trying to, like, improve Papa John's image, which he has done to some extent. I will give him that.
Do that. That would be fun. That would be great.
The Papa John's pizza cutter move of the night. You can get little pizza cutters at Papa John's signed by Nick Gage and shit. Oh, come on, this is fucking money. All right, let's talk about Saturday Night Dynamite coming up. This is fun. Saturday night. We're old. We don't got anything to do on a Saturday night unless you're working a fight.
Well, and also we're conditioned as AEW fans that is a pay-per-view night, right? Mm-hmm. They do their pay-per-views, generally speaking, on Saturday nights. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm not hating this idea.
So I'm reading this off a website, so who knows the order, and this isn't the whole, this is only the card I think that's been announced that they know of. But we've got AAA Tag Team Championships, Lucha Bros taking on a masked tag team. Now, you think this is the Lucha Bros guys?
The Lucha Party.
Lucha Party, excuse me. Yeah, Lucha Party guys.
I think it's the Lucha Party guys.
Probably is.
Now, did they say it's masked? They're both masked?
They're a masked tag team.
Because you know who I kind of want it to be? Just to really...
They didn't say they'll stay masked.
Well, that's true. But just to throw...
It's Wyndham Rotunda.
Wyndham Rotunda. Wyndham Rotunda and Sister Abigail are the tag team.
Yeah.
No, I want... Just to throw a curveball in this whole tag team division, I want it to be AOP. Make it some big motherfuckers who scare the shit out of people.
Are they both? They've both been released, huh?
Oh yeah, they were released a long time ago.
Yeah. Where have they been?
But you know what I mean? I don't know. But you know what I mean?
Real
Like,
estate,
look at the
working real estate.
but look at the tag team division, right? So it's
Yep.
all smaller, flippy guys and fun stuff. Now you got Jericho and Hager, but you get what I'm saying. Like, generally speaking, throw some big fucking Coke machines in there and let's have some fun. That's who I want it to be, but it's probably Lucha Party.
An interesting match that came on kind of suddenly that I think's got everybody talking that you wouldn't have expected. Dante Martin and Malachi Black.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I think Malachi Black is going to win. I think he's going to largely dominate, but I think we'll come away being like, man, that Dante Martin sure got in a few blows here and there and was able to, you know what I mean, hold his own, and we still come away respecting the Dante Martin, right? They're trying to like elevate him on this like workhorse, you know, crowd favorite thing, and I think that'll go a long way where he gets his ass kicked, but it was like I had a couple of puncher's chances in there, right?
Yeah. So my thought process is this. As we just saw with the buy-in, we just got Minoru Suzuki versus Bryan Danielson.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't necessarily need to all be these big build-up matches. But I think the end goal for Dante Martin right now in his career is a match with Lio Rush. My thought process is on Friday night when it's Matt Sydal and it'll probably be Dante Martin and Lio Rush ringside, we're going to get some type of shenanigans where Leo accidentally grabbed Sydal's foot, didn't even mean to, so sorry. CM Punk wins. Then the next night, we're going to get the payoff of now a feud has started with Lio Rush and Dante Martin. Matt Sydal maybe gets injured on Friday night. He can't be there on Saturday night. Malachi Black gets the victory. So we got CM Punk and Malachi Black looking strong. There we go. But now, out of these two matches, we've created Lio Rush, Dante Martin. Here we go. Next week on Dynamite, we get flips and shits on steroids. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. All right. Bryan Danielson, Bobby Fish. Bryan Danielson's definitely winning that one.
Yes, definitely winning that one. The thing I'm nervous about, though, is Bobby Fish is going to be like, I'm going to prove my spot. I'm going to fucking go 100% with Lee Moriarty. And he's going to hurt himself, and he won't make it the next night. And we're going to have to figure out a backup plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, what if he joins? Oh, what if he joins the fucking Elite?
Hot take. Whoever they get to stand in will probably be more interesting to me.
Well, but what if Bobby Fish joins the Elite because he's BFFs with Adam Cole, baby? Well, yeah, but it'd still be cool
Things
for
starting
Adam.
to feel like the NWO.
Well, not yet. They haven't really joined anyone. You know, no one's really turned.
Yeah, well, I mean, Adam Cole joined, right?
Well,
Six
but
Pac.
yeah,
A little more than Six Pac.
Not as big though.
Yeah. 5.5 Pac.
Yeah.
All right. Then we get the full bracket will be revealed for the AEW Title Eliminator Tournament, with the finals of that tournament taking place at Full Gear. So, you know, what else to say about that?
What does that mean, though? Hold on. Read that again. What does that mean?
The full bracket for the AEW Title Eliminator Tournament will be revealed, and the finals of that tournament will take place at Full Gear, which if the finals isn't like you're facing the champion, then it's going to be like a number one contenders match at Full Gear.
Okay, that makes more sense. Okay. Yeah, I was under the impression that the winner takes on Kenny Omega at Full Gear.
Right.
But with Adam Page, Hangman, getting the contract.
Yeah, no, so we'll probably get Page, Omega at Full Gear, and then whoever wins that is their first up.
Yeah, and then the
opponent.
Finals is Christian versus Adam Cole.
Cody Rhodes or some shit, right? Like,
yeah.
That's how they get Cody Rhodes back. Like, I'll never be the champion, but like, hey, we'll give you one shot at it here, right? You win this title eliminator tournament.
Did you see that he did it? He did an interview and he said he still will never go heel in AEW. He's like, I have a child.
Is.
Like, now you think he is?
I mean, with that, that's why he's saying it. He's turning. He's in the middle of the turn right now.
Yeah.
You caught when Arn Anderson said, why don't you paint a star on your face?
Loved it.
Loved that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we see Arn Anderson again on Saturday night.
Fucking pulling out the gat, man. So, before we move on to our final topic of the night, any final words about Rampage Dynamite?
I'm excited. I'm going to be traveling on Friday night, so I'm going to have it on my phone as I go up to Omaha, Nebraska.
Ooh. Omaha.
I got a nephew who is going to be pitching Saturday morning, so Friday night we're going to hang out. Got my baseball gloves packed up. But yeah, so as I'm traveling up to Omaha, I'm going to have that on my phone, listening and kind of side-eye viewing. So excited for violence. again, we talked about how you have to have a story, and that's what we're into. When you say Minoru Suzuki and Bryan Danielson, and you just know the violence, you're not watching for the story. You're watching for like, oh, fuck, this might be a real fight here in about 3 minutes. Like Bryan Danielson giving a hard kick to Suzuki, and Suzuki's like, we said we're not doing this backstage. And then Suzuki, like, real shoot fighting him.
Well, or just saying, like, do it harder, you punk, right?
Well, it's just like, we're throwing the script out. We're really going to fight. That could easily happen, and I'm here for it. I love it.
Well, all right. Hashtag tweet the table. Let's do this. Hashtag tweet the table is a fun, interactive part of the show where you can tell us what to talk about. And because we're the voice of the voiceless, we're the podcast of the people. But only one person did that this week. You guys must have, you didn't catch GCW like we did. So,
I'll tell you what.
It's at Katie First Lady. And I want to bring this up because she responded to somebody who posted a picture that showed, much like they're doing a King of the Ring tournament, they're doing a Queen's Crown tournament in WWE. And presumably we're going to have a Queen of the Ring, I guess. And so they had a woman tournament, 4 opening matches, right? And let me break it down on this picture. Selena Vega versus Toni Storm lasted 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yep.
Doudrop versus Natalya lasted 2 minutes 55 seconds.
Hey.
Carmela versus Liv Morgan, 1 minute 46 seconds. And Shayna Basler versus Dana Brooke, which is not wholly unbelievable in this one, 1 minute 21 seconds. That's kind of the storyline you're telling, with Shayna. So that one I'll give you a pass on. But
yeah, that one, if you were saying, hey, we have to make one of these quick, you'd say the Shayna Baszler match. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So to get into Katie's thing, somebody was like, they posted all those and they went women's revolution with air quotes, right? Well, they put actual quotes on the tweet, of course. But she says, well, I think ironically, well, none of them are a champion or Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, or Bianca. So why put a focus on them? She said, why not make a new star, right? Because they don't know how and when to try to, or when they try to, they make dumbass decisions and kill momentum and kill tag teams and make us not give a shit. Hashtag tweet the table. And yeah, the one thing you could say that WWE had started doing right over the last few decades had been the women, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had seemingly done a 180 and were going the other direction than they had always gone. And we were applauding them for that. But nowadays.
Well, but here's the thing. She's right where they don't know how to make the new star. So they're going to say our time is going to be in what we know. So let's have Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman do a 3rd segment instead of 2 segments. And we're going to put our time into that.
But how you build the stars, you got to give the time to the other people. You can't.
They don't care because I bet there's some metrics that we're unaware of, right? That they have a breakdown.
Oh,
that
no, hold on. This is something I've wanted to bring up. I know where you're going with this, right? Maybe they're looking at some data and it says, well, blah, blah, blah. And I think you think that because I think that's how you recognize corporations and businesses work in 2021, right? Everything is fucking. That's what I do. Is I handle data at a company. WWE probably fucking does it in their corporate with some of their sales and shit. Yeah. But Vince McMahon doesn't give a fuck about any of that. I guarantee you him and Bruce Pritchard don't fuck. If you brought them data on the matches, they'd tell you they'd fucking wipe their ass with it. Tell you, I know how to fucking do this thing. You put the fucking women to right?
But to a point, because remember, let's go back when Bad Bunny made his first appearance on Raw. And then that turns into the biggest fucking YouTube video they have. All of a sudden, hey, Bad Bunny, you want
everything. Yeah.
Right. And so what I think is they're looking at YouTube numbers or whatever the fuck it is, right? And they're like, Liv Morgan, even though
but again, it's a
Katie likes her.
Prophecy. You're not giving them the time to get over, and then you go, well, they're not getting over. Well, motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like what you said when you were like, well, John Cena's the number 1 merch seller, but they put 20 shirts of his and one of everybody else.
Right. So who's going to get more sales?
Right.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Now they're feeling the heat. This is classic study the night before a test mentality from WWE. It is. It's, well, hey, we're fine. We're fine. We're fine. Guys, we're fine. We're cool. Then they go to Rochester and AEW outsells them 3-1 in ticket sales. And then they go, fuck. Okay. Hey, I know Roman works. Put Roman in here. Roman. And then, hey, you know what? Do it again. Roman. And then, they like Seth a little bit. Seth. And then Edge. Put Edge. But the women, just show them. Just show them. We show our work, right? Here's the work. And then, bah. And then we're back to Roman. And we're back to Edge. And we're back to Seth Rollins. Or we're back to the big tall guy. Hey, we got a big tall guy. He's black and he's tall. His name is something. Amos, we don't even know how to say it, but he's here too. Hey, Matt Riddle, he's a pothead. You guys like weed, right? We all like weed. That's cool, right? It's the 90s. Let's have Matt Riddle. Like, they're fucking panic. It's the night before the test mentality. So
we've heard that they're doing rewrites on the day of, which sometimes I get the feel AEW wrote the script the day of, but I don't feel like they're doing the rewrites the day. You know what I mean? Like,
right? Yeah.
It's because they sat in there like, what do you guys want to do here? Well, we had an idea of this. Okay, here it is, married up, let's go. But they have a loose idea of where the storyline's going, that kind of idea, which I think works well. Mm-hmm. But WWE's is, I don't know. And the whole thing is like, are they doing the finals of this at this Crown Jewel?
Tim, I don't know. I don't watch WWE.
Like, because are they even allowed to fucking wrestle there? Like,
Yes, they are. Because
but they got to be covered neck to fucking toenail, right? Like,
to a certain extent, I know. So the first time they ever did it, I think it was Alexa Bliss and Sasha, and they were fucking.
I think that was like the UAE, right? I think that was like,
right. But I think, if I recall, and I'm not fact checking here, I think I remember a Natalya match where she was just dressed as Natalya and she got to do a match.
Well,
there.
She's not dressed how she dresses, I guarantee you, out there. She wears almost fucking nothing sometimes.
Yeah. No. Natalya Neidhart. I'm talking about Natty.
Yeah.
Well, you think she wears next to nothing?
She wears fucking slits all the way down her fucking legs. She's got her fucking tits hanging out of every fucking thing that she does.
But she's covered. Like,
she's got two fucking bowling balls hanging out of her fucking bra every match she's in.
Yeah, I mean, you ain't wrong.
They're there. I've seen them. I've noticed them.
Yeah, you have.
I've noticed them.
So I wouldn't be shocked on the look what we're doing for women's progress. Here's the finals of our first ever Queens of the Ring.
That match went 15 minutes.
Yeah, that will be the marathon match.
Jesus, man. I just really they've really regressed in the whole we're giving women time. Now, look, they are pushing Bianca Belair as a thing, and they give Sasha Banks time and Charlotte time. But
that's because, again, it's the night before the test mentality. Because they know that Bianca, Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte are established. They know. They don't have to worry about that. But you want them to put effort into new things? Nah. Yeah. Nah. We ain't doing that shit. Nope.
And that's why we don't really watch anymore.
I legitimately don't.
Yeah.
I'm being serious. I watch, I subscribe to their YouTube channel, which kind of makes me sick, but whatevs. And so I'll see the videos. If it interests me as far as like the little 5-second YouTube clip, you know how it'll start to play it a little bit. And I'm like, oh, let's see, right? Street Profits versus Usos was the last thing I saw. But I'm not wasting my fucking time on things I don't like.
Yeah, it's not bad. We watch what we like.
We watch GCW, goddammit.
And you should watch GCW.
Hit up Kevin Gill. Let him know that you watch GCW.
And that you want him to come to Kansas City.
Yes. Even if you're not from Kansas City, let him know you want them to come to Kansas City for us.
Yes, for us.
Right here.
And then I guess watch what you like, but you should watch GCW.
And AEW.
The Spanish announce table.